Say what?
Hi again, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. So yesterday, Exela Technologies, ticker symbol XELA, hosted two important calls. The first being a call regarding the earnings updates for Q1 and a call regarding investor voting on a potential reverse stock split. Now, I managed to actually attend the first call, but not the second call, which is probably the one that most people on here are interested in. But I'll give you a bit of a recap on what I heard from the earnings call and what I guess they said about the upcoming reverse stock split. So firstly, in terms of the earning call, actually, and not surprising, they always do this, but Charter came out and he was actually kind of optimistic about how the company was going. They basically have stated that the company has shown that it is on an improving trajectory. They kept talking about this on a sequential basis. So basically Q1 of 2023 was stronger in many ways, or basically all ways, than Q4 of 2022. And year over year, Q1 2023 was slightly better than it was in Q1 2022. Even though on a year over year basis, the company has actually been on a downward trajectory. The reason this is kind of important is it shows that the company actually is kind of moving in a positive direction. So if you want to get a good year over year result, you have to obviously have quarter after quarter after quarter of improvement. And that's kind of what they have shown. And it's an important consideration too, because Exela Technologies, the majority of their revenue is derived from subscription money. It's not based on one-off sales, it's ongoing revenue streams. So, that sort of shows that there's an improvement in that area there. So what they sort of highlighted, one of the issues that they've sort of said has hurt the company a little bit in the most recent quarter is that operating expenses have been increasing. So that is largely due to a lot of their services being migrated to being cloud-based rather than relying on data centers that they are moving away from. So they don't own the cloud space that they use. They obviously have to hire it. So the costs around that have added to a higher OPEX rate. However, there was as a result of this, they actually saw a reduction in capital expenditure because they don't have to invest as much into the data centers. So there is a bit of a trade-off there, but the operating expenses did go up. However, the capital expenditure does go down as a result. Now, one other thing they highlight, Q1 sort of showed that they had improved profit margins actually across most sections of the business, which is really pleasing to see. And like we sort of said, the gross profit was up sequentially quarter over quarter with about $57 million shown. Now, they sort of finished off sort of saying that, in terms of the three objectives the business has for this year about improving EBITDA, improving net margins, and executing on savings plans, that they have all demonstrated progress towards these goals in this quarter. So it was quite an upbeat session. There was only one person who asked a question in the call, and it was someone who, from one of the funds that is invested in Exela, and they sort of spoke about the fact that the margins were really good and they were actually quite bullish. They were actually giving PAR a rap for doing good work there. So it's interesting that the institutions are or the one institution that spoke there kind of was very glowing of how Exela is going. There was sort of no real mention of the debt problems that the company faces, which has led to the demolishing of its share value. They did make some comments on the call about the reverse stock split, they weren't encouraging people to vote for it in the call. They sort of said that when they have the vote in the following call, the 10 a.m. call, which I wasn't a part of, unfortunately, they said after they go through it, they will post the results either at the end of the day's trade, which didn't occur. They said if not, they will let people know come Friday. So obviously, this Friday session that we're heading into is going to be an important one in terms of news development. We'll see whether the reverse stock split was approved and at what ratio. I think it's a vote on whether there should be a reverse stock split, and then the board decides what that stock split will be done. Like what's the ratio, whether it's 1 for 100, or I think they said it's going to be more like 1 for 250 or something like that. So it's a pretty brutal 1 to 100 or 1 to 250. So it's going to be quite a brutal reverse stock split for holders of the common stock, and it's going to wipe out my $3,000 investment even more, I believe. Anyway, but on that $3,000 investment, people follow my updates and this know that I've put the money in the company, hoping that there's going to be a sale of the XBP Europe division, and as a result that they will be using that money to undertake a reverse stock split of sorts. Now, they didn't talk about any of this at all, but Page did say that there are plans to sell assets with a small a, he said, later this year, but he did not specify which assets they were talking about. So kind of a little bit of hope was given there to me, but they're obviously still looking at selling something this year, some division or some product. What that is remains to be seen. But I guess my $3,000 gamble, it's a gamble. It's not an investment of any real thought other than that there might be a good stock buyback here. So there's still a bit of an air of hope, although I'm probably going to see my position absolutely obliterated following whatever the result of this reverse stock split vote was, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a favourable yes. They've had over 1 billion new shares raised recently who all get to vote on this matter, and they were all raised by institutions, so they're all going to say yes, reverse stock split. So I don't think it's not going to get through. Anyway, let's see how things go. Let me know what you're thinking about XELA at the moment. The stock obviously kind of responded initially positively to the earnings news, but dropped down around the time the reverse stock split investor call went on, and that to me is a bit of a red flag. Well, not a red flag, it's probably just what we're expecting, that the stock split is going to occur. But if you have any insights on that, if you attended the meeting about the vote, please let me know what you heard in the comments below. I'll try to keep you guys updated as best I can on the stock, as I do. As the companies become smaller, there's less coverage of it, which makes it a bit harder, so I have to kind of like dig a bit deeper to find stuff. But yeah, anyway, till next everyone, and the market's trading in your favour. Cheers.